Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It's great to be here with you for another edition of Ben's MicroVision podcast, a podcast for information and entertainment purposes, not a financial advice podcast. You may remember last weekend, I talked about the Anduril and Meta partnership for the Eagle Eye product to sell into the Department of Defense. Okay, so we understand that Anduril, who bought the contract from Microsoft for the IVAS, has subsequently partnered with Meta for the next program called Soldier Borne Mission Command. And Soldier Borne Mission Command is going to feature this Eagle Eye product or configurable set of products that's going to meet the needs for soldiers, majors, generals, everybody working on every aspect of defense. So the question of what is Meta bringing to the table is something that's worth talking about. So Meta, as you may know, has a Reality Labs division under which they've been undertaking pretty advanced research in the both virtual reality and augmented reality space. And one of the things they've been working on is a waveguide technology. And I'm going to share with you a little video. We can watch it together about what this waveguide technology might be. Okay, here we see a video that Meta Reality Labs put together talking about a waveguide technology that they're working on using silicon carbide as the material. Waveguides are thin pieces of transparent material that collect the lasers or other light source generated images and steer them around so they reflect to your eye while maintaining transparency such that you can see the world around you and be able to function. So the traditional waveguides have some challenges having to do with the amount of light that is actually reflected to the user's eye. The non-technical term that I like to use is lossy. They're lossy. The amount of light that gets reflected to your eye is a small fraction of the amount of light that's generated by the light source. So the goal is to create waveguides that are as efficient as possible. If they're as efficient as possible, you can reduce the amount of light energy output that's needed at the projector side or imager, and that reduces the power consumption of the system. So that's all great. If it is the case that Meta has a really innovative new method for producing waveguides that have a much better performance characteristic than the traditional waveguides, or it's hard to call them traditional because no one's ever used them. They're all in laboratories. But this kind of material science approach to solving the problem is very interesting. Now, one of the things about this is that the material itself is very expensive. And what folks try to do in situations like this is piggyback on other applications that are driving demand for volume, in this case silicon carbide. And I understand that the thing that drives demand for silicon carbide is some kind of advanced semiconductors that could be used in automotive applications, etc. But I don't think that the high volume for the automotive applications has materialized yet. So as a result, the silicon carbide waveguide that Meta has invented, apparently, is going to be very expensive to mass manufacture. So when you think about it, they need to drive cost out of their system. They're going to have you can't stamp this out like it's made of plastic, right? It's going to have some materials processing happening going in order to create a waveguide from the material. So it's a long way from a brick of material to a waveguide that can deliver a beautiful image from an inbound display. So they need to find a customer that's willing to sponsor the work and pay for the units at the price that they will command. And so this speaks to kind of the larger strategy behind what Meta is doing with regards to coming to the military space. If you think about the requirements for a product in the consumer segment, you've got price, then you've got size, weight, and power, as the next level of things, right? If it's something cheap, but it's huge, they can still sell some of those into the consumer market, as we've seen. Not a ton of them, but if it's cheap, it doesn't have to be beautiful to be worn on the head of somebody who's, playing a VR game or whatever. But if it's not cheap, and even if it has great performance, it's just not going to sell because nobody's got $3,000 for Apple Vision Pro, as we've seen, or more than that. So I think the opportunity for Meta in partnering with Anduril is to bring forward some of their very modern, very advanced material sciences type of programs into some form of commercial, cash generating product. And they can't do that out of the gate with the consumer, because they would take a bath on each one if they tried to sell silicon carbide waveguide into US consumer space straight away. So instead, you create the product for the military, you sell each unit for as much as the military can manage, which is probably a lot, and you learn a lot. You improve the product, the materials, the processes, the machines for making all the stuff. All of the kind of technology risk is driven out of the platform and system by virtue of doing this program for the military. And Palmer Luckey earlier in the week was interviewed by somebody, his voice was gone, but he was talking about how partners, and he included Qualcomm as one of them, would have a license to resell the technology that is invented or supplied into the military back into consumer applications. Anduril wasn't going to sell into consumer applications. Meta, Qualcomm, Oakley, I think was the other one, are going to do that. So that's a bit of why they want to get involved into the military. They want to get involved in the military to de-risk, start to generate cash from all the investments they've made, bring some of this amazing high-spec stuff to market with a customer that can afford to pay for it, and they'll make a lot of money in doing so. All right, here's the example of another Facebook Meta Reality Labs innovation that is possibly in play for the Eagle Eye Anduril partnership. It's a neural haptic wristband interface that probably has some advanced sensors in it, probably has a lot of expensive gear and equipment inside. I guess the premise is somehow it connects to your thoughts and or your body motions, or gives you a way to interact or control the augmented reality content or even the display itself with your wrist. So you've got crazy materials that no one's ever used before that have high performance in these optical applications. You've got advanced interaction modalities that probably are expensive to produce in a high volume. So, start with the military, create amazing futuristic applications with tremendous value proposition of saving somebody's life. Each unit will go for quite a pretty penny, and then you drive the cost out, as I mentioned. Okay, that's all great. But what does this have to do with MicroVision? Well, what you're looking at right there is the IVAS head-up display that has been in the works for several years with Microsoft. Recently, the contract was purchased by Anduril, and we went through that last week. But what is important to know about this is there are multiple MicroVision projectors inside of this helmet-mounted display. And that's not a state secret, or it shouldn't be, because MicroVision is the engine that makes the HoloLens 2. The HoloLens 2 is the basis for the IVAS. It's essentially a HoloLens 2 that's been augmented with certain improvements and a bunch of sensors, like a night vision sensor and a gun sight link up, for making soldiers better, smarter, safer, more lethal, everything like that. So there's MicroVision presenting the information to the soldier's eye. Right? Then comes along Anduril, they buy the contract. What that exactly means for MicroVision is unclear. So buying the contract, what has he really bought, right? If they're just recompeting it again for Soldier Borne Mission Command, is everybody just starting at zero, right? Or has he bought incumbency with the program? They're already there day after day working out the application. He's integrated the Lattice software, which is some form of augmented reality battlefield overlay synchronization with drones. Like, they've thought a lot about the applications that are going to be delivered through this interface, or are being delivered today through this interface, right? It's being delivered to a small number of units in a trial type of fashion, but it's happening. So your MicroVision display in the world of right now is delivering battlefield information through an augmented reality goggle customized for the government that is now being run as a program by Anduril. Okay, awesome. So Anduril partners with Meta. And you say, okay, I was all confused last week. What are they possibly doing? Well, we went through what's in it for Facebook or Meta to participate in the program. And so we know what's in it for them. Well, what's in it for Anduril? Probably the investment into the material side of things, the ability to secure components that don't exist in the world yet in any kind of volume, but could provide a performance boost to the Eagle Eye or the next generation. So they're working with it. It's happening. Now they want to build something new and better. So the question that I think is relevant is, are they going to build something new and better on a totally different technology platform than a MicroVision scan beam display? Well, I think for a couple of reasons that they'll continue to use the MicroVision display, not the least of which was Palmer Luckey himself coming to the MicroVision Reddit board and making a statement that he believes in MicroVision technology, right? You can look it up. So The boss of the whole program has been working with the program. He's been building advanced prototypes of a new thing. Just randomly one day shows up and says, basically, I love MicroVision. And I saw an interview with him at one point where he said MicroVision was one of the first 3 companies that he ever invested in. Okay. So he has been a long-time shareholder, just like many of us. So there he is, operating these MicroVision-based products, delivering augmented reality technology to the Army for the very first time in a meaningful way. Here comes Facebook. Meta. They've got the money, the experience, the know-how, the innovations, the technologies that we already talked about. They want to get into military space, drive the cost out. So what are they going to suggest or want to do as far as a display engine goes? We've seen in the past that they have invested a lot in the micro LED technology, and that's been great. But we don't know if they're exclusive with that concept, and there are reasons to think why they may not, and let's watch that.
About light engines, the other key part of this. At Meta, we're exploring a wide range of these, ranging from LCOS technology, which is fairly mature and available today, to emerging technologies like micro LED, and where we ultimately believe we'll need to go with laser scanning, just because of the much higher efficiencies that we can get from the system. And while micro LED holds promise, there's still significant challenges, especially things like red, small pixel performance across various different types of LED technologies. So again, lots of opportunities here, and the market is ready. AI has created the opportunity for us, and we really just need to step up our game. That's my call to all of you.
Okay, that's all fine and good, but who is that guy anyway? That guy is Jason Hartlo, who is the boss of the entire display endeavor at Meta for augmented reality. He is the senior engineering leader responsible for development of all augmented reality display systems and cameras, depths, and sensor systems for wearables and the metaverse, from user perception focused research and design through display and imaging pipeline, light sources, display projectors, camera and sensor modules, waveguides, optics, and eyepiece, including prescription lens accommodation, eye tracking, and all other aspects. Remarkable. That is amazing. So that guy is the boss of the entire Meta augmented reality display super team. And on that super team, he has more than one super team member from MicroVision. So let's go back and talk about one aspect of that presentation. Okay, what I want to draw your attention to is this chart and what it means, and why he was saying that laser scanning is the place they're going to get to, the final solution as is shown on the chart. So each line, there's the blue line, the red line, and the green line. And the red line is for micro LED and says anticipated technology. In the anticipated technology of micro LED, it's going to improve over time to get to a power efficiency that's about halfway through the line of efficiency, okay? When they go to laser, which they state is likely the final solution for their product implementation, what we see is that the arc for efficiency for the laser goes up much higher, and it doesn't plateau anywhere near the same level. So after just a modest amount of time, the green line overtakes the red line and it keeps going up, wherein the red line goes down. And the red line goes down because the power efficiency can't keep up with what laser is doing. So the premise here that the boss of Meta's display team was saying is that laser scanning is going to provide a much more power efficient display engine than micro LED does or will. So it remains to be seen whether they're just going to hop right over micro LED and go straight to the final solution, because, I would say it's available now. It's available now. It's already working in the HoloLens 2 and the IVAS program, which is now run by Anduril, who's a big MicroVision fan. Okay, let's watch this MicroVision video that was put out a few years ago that describes their design concept for a augmented reality eyewear display engine. Here you can see it's a very tiny module that combines the lasers and the mirrors and the drive electronics and fits inside the eyepiece of some traditional looking eyeglasses. In prior conversations with the management, they described this architecture that you're seeing as something that they have in their design files. So essentially, somebody's job was to come up with a miniaturized version of the HoloLens 2 display that would be suitable for a pair of fashion eyewear glasses. And when they designed it, they said, we can take it this far on our own without somebody paying us to actually build it, right? But they designed it enough that they know where the electronics would go, where the lasers would go, where the mirrors would go, and how it would interact. Now, when they actually get a specific waveguide technology, they're going to have to make some modifications to what you see there. It's a conceptual execution of a projector display for eyewear. But they put some time into it, and it's there. And the most important thing is they know they can do it, and they know that they can do it because they built the other thing. And this is just a further miniaturization of the original thing, which is in the HoloLens 2 and IVAS. So there it is. It's there. It's wonderful. So you might be saying, why does the management always downplay augmented reality and say it's years away? And why have we become a LiDAR company until very recently, as the exclusive focus? That is a conversation I'd love to have and probably will make a great episode for later. But for now, I think we're going to just leave it at that. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Stay safe. Be good. As always, like, subscribe, and put a comment in if you have a question. I can try to address it in an upcoming episode. So stay safe. Enjoy your family on the weekend, and we'll get back after it next Saturday. All right. Thanks, everybody.